Hello everyone. So I have this tool, and this one actually has sparkles on it. This one right here doesn't. And I had this up as a background for a while for videos and stuff, but I kind of want to make something with it. I love how this one just has the sparkles, but I kind of just want to play with this first tool and then use this one for something else, but I want to see how tool works first. So I'm thinking about making a skirt, and what I'm going to do is just measure the front piece real fast. Whoa, there it goes. Whoops. But we're going to measure the front piece from here to here, I'm thinking. And this is 4 layers of tulle. And the length, I really want it to be longer than the skirt that I made last week. And the skirt that I made last week was 33 inches long, I think. And this one I want to be around 39 to 40 inches. I want it to sort of look like an overskirt, but I don't know. So I am going to just cut right here as best I can. I've never actually worked with tulle before. This is the first time other than like hanging it up on the wall. So we're just gonna finish getting this cut. So here it is, the first little panel all cut out. Oh, and it actually came out to in between 40 and 41 because I wanted a little bit more extra length just in case I made any mistakes. Because I want it to be straight, but this is actually really like interesting to work with. Don't really know what I'm trying to do. I think I'm trying to just make sure that it's all straight. So I stitched it sort of with a fast stitch with this white thread, and I also used like red and yellow, and then I hand stitched this. It took such a long time, but I didn't record it because I thought that it was just boring. And so now I have to stitch this side close together as well too, after I make it even. So this side is already stitched. I'll pull this guy out later, so then you won't even be able to see that. And I'm just using the elastic little band as a holder. I'm going to fold this part over, and then what I'm thinking about is cutting it there for the back, so then that way it can be a little bit longer width-wise than in the front. That's what I'm thinking. So hopefully with it all laid out like that, I'll be able to just have it folded over nice and neat right along that line. Because that front panel is all done. Now we're just going to work on the back panel. So we're going to smooth it out. And here pretty soon I'll be coming along with the little slicer. Oh, there I am. So I actually did it at around 14 inches, I guess. So that is the front panel, all pinned up, laid out, all pinned in place. And then I stitched, well, I didn't stitch, but I pinned the back panel on. And I'm thinking about just hopefully letting it stay there. I'm going to turn it around here. It's really hard to do one-handed, especially with cords. I'm thinking about doing a tail. I really want to do a tail, but I'm going to have to probably scrunch it up, excuse me, and we'll just wrap the elastic all the way around. I pinned this. This actually on the back is only 2 layers of tulle, where on the front it's 4 layers just stitched in there. So I still have to stitch the back panels together, and then I have to stitch the front panels with the back panels. But yeah, lots of pins all the way down. Woo. But I really want like some type of tail. I've never had anything with tails, but all that will eventually go away. I'll be able to get it down for the waist. So what I'm going to do in order to actually get my stitching with these 2 layers is I'm going to just do a really, really big stitch with this needle right here and use some pink thread so then I can see it and cut it away later. And you got to be really careful when sewing on the mannequin so you don't sew it to the mannequin. I had to cut away so much random stuff during. So, yeah, but at least it didn't really matter since it was going away anyways. So, but you're just gonna want to, or at least I just continued this stitch all the way down. So, what I did then was I put it in like that, slid the needle down, and I pulled it through. And this took forever. It took me like 2 or 3 days just to hand stitch everything. And not like, not the measuring or anything, but it was kind of soothing just to do the hand stitching, but I'm really thinking that I need to get a sewing machine. Some type of sewing machine would be good, but doing it by hand and taking your time is actually quite enjoyable to me. Yep. I'm going to go ahead and finish that all the way down on this side seam, that side seam, and the back. So now you can sort of see it here. It's not very good. It was actually very difficult to do tulle, and especially have it go all the way down. And so I'm thinking about cutting off maybe, but I'll just do that later. Here's the back part. But I'm still going to have to sew it down to make sure that the length is all there. So I pinned more, sewed more. Now I'm starting to look at the waistband. And what I'm going to do is just fold it over like that, sew it along here, and cut it off. I have so much extra, but my seams aren't that great, so I don't really want to cut everything away. And this is way too much of a tail, so I'm not sure I'm going to be doing a tail. Pretty sure I have to have some type of other pattern than just square, because this will not fit together. So that was a good little thought, but it'll probably just end up being attached right here and cut off right along there. But I'm probably just going to work and then take care of the tail later. So I'm just going to pull all of these things out. This is actually really fun too, because then all the color just gets to come right out and you get to see everything. So I really had a fun time just swooping that out. So this is the bottom. I tried to make it as straight as possible. My seams are just so awful, but I realized that what I'm going to do is just cover it in lace, and then that'll be fine. That way I won't have to see anything. But first, before I do that, I'm going to cut this stuff off. Probably finish up some seams there so they're actually even, because this one came down way more than this one. So I want the back to maybe have a triangle in case I can't walk, but I don't know. I'm gonna lay this out, and what I'm thinking about is cutting sort of a circle type or like a half type thing. Maybe. I actually just ended up cutting straight along here, and then I curved it up to the front. Just a smidge, like a really, really tiny curve. Excuse me. And so I think that I'm going to sew these together first. So they can actually be attached. Probably end up sewing the back a little bit more too. What I'm going to do first though is try to cut away this excess up here. And I'm not really too sure if I'm actually cutting straight or not, because when I pull it up, it doesn't look that straight. But, oh, and see, like, there's a little jagged edge, but I got it done. That's what it looks like. It is pretty jagged, but I'm thinking about just covering it with a type of blouse or something over it. Maybe putting some lace on top of it so then you can't actually see it, at least on the sides. I'm going to put it on the sides, I'm not sure if I want to do both sides like this, or maybe just have one side and then do the back with two sides of lace. Maybe have one on the inside. I'm not sure. But thinking about just putting it on the outside like this. I'm going to pin it all the way down on this little seam here. So then all that I have to do is just sew along the seam that I created. And then you won't be able to tell where it is. And see how big they are. I'm just going to pin the lace to the front layer and not both layers. So you got to lift it up and then make sure that it's actually not pinned to both. And so this is what the back ended up looking like. I had two pieces, and then the front is going to be one little layer of lace. And that's what it looks like all the way down. Still a lot of hand sewing to do. I didn't, like I said, get any video of it because I thought that it would be boring for everybody, but I don't know. I might get more of it next time. Not too sure yet, but this is what it actually looks like up here at the top. It's not too bad. Like, it's pretty okay. But, alright, time to get sewing again. I decided to actually sew these two pieces all the way down, because this one, it was very easy to just put on top of, and if I need to sew two of them, it's really hard, so I don't want them to slip away, whereas if they're both together, I can lay that big seam right down and not have to worry about it. So this seam together right on top. So what happened was I ended up putting it on backwards, and I had to sew extra little pieces here. So it's okay from far away, but alright, well, this is what it looks like all the way down. I'm going to turn it around now, and this is the front. It is really pretty. I love lace so much, but as you can see, my little waistline area here is just ridiculous. So I gotta cut either straighter or find a way to hide that. But I actually really like being able to see through it and having the lace as well. I think it looks really pretty. So I'm gonna go take some pictures of it and extra footage. Oh, look at how pretty it looks. Oh, I love it so much. And then this is the back. right here. And yeah, so if you want to check it out on IG, I'm going to try to put it up on there. But I hope that you're having a good day, and take care. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.